This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
And I was a director of photography.
I'm May Todd, and I was an associate producer.
I'm Dana James Milwaukee, and we handled the brand design, print design, web design, and social media design.
Esso Tolson, and was a part of the web design, promo design team.
Kevin Brooks, and I was a camera operator and editor.
April Monday, I was a camera operator and personal assistant.
Kiara Turner, I was an assistant / associate producer.
She got promoted.
Gary B. Williams, I was a still photographer.
These lights aren't on. We're sorry for all the light stuff, but do you want to have a little Q&A? Are people up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, if May, you want to do it? So if you can raise your hand, May and I will try to get to you. So, I'm going to keep this and take it to whoever you're asking this of. So we only have one microphone. So we're gonna do this as long as you want to, but you know we need to not go too long. So yeah, say your name and stand up when you ask your question, please.
My name is Joanne, and I have a question for Darius. Could you talk a little bit about the process of doing the portraits and the family portraits and the individual portraits, and kind of what strikes you as the most significant part about that process? Like, what surprised you? What was fun? And all of that.
That's a good question.
But you know, portraits. You know, amazing portraits.
Well, what I'd like to say about this process, number one, is that I was extraordinarily moved by meeting.
There you go.
Extraordinarily moved by meeting the sanitation workers and their wives and their families. And so I worked closely with Emily and the whole team on trying to figure out what was the best way to represent them in a way that people could really want to know more about their story. That was really the point of doing the still photos. So after each one of the interview sessions, they would come over to me and we would talk for a little while, and we would get to know each other a little bit better, and I would ask them questions. That's part of what I do when I take pictures of people. I want to talk to them. I want to know who they are. And as they were talking, I would take pictures, and the rest of the crew was standing around, and we were trying to make them all feel very welcome and very respected. And what you see out in the hallway, out in the gallery, is what we came out of that process with. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Audrey. I first of all want very sincere thank you to the Turner family and all of the families who are here today. And I want to say thank you for sharing your stories with us, because the stories of what your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents did is essential to understanding the history of this city. And I want to thank you for sharing that. Sometimes difficult and painful, but very powerful story. I want to ask any of you, any of the family members, what you think Memphis would be like today if we hadn't had the strike, if your family members hadn't had the courage to stand up.
Sherry, you want to take that?
I can say what's on my mind.
You have to stand up. This is Beverly.
Hi, okay, I'm Beverly Turner Moore. My father was Alvin Turner. First of all, I'm really sorry that he didn't make it to this point, but he's happy with what has happened. One of the things that Daddy talked about was, first of all, one of the reasons he felt that the strike was settled was that there were going to be a whole lot of people from across the country that would come to Memphis to also support them. This was after King was killed. So something was going to happen. At some point I asked my father, what would have happened had King not been killed? He says he doesn't know. I said, what would have happened if you all had given up the strike and gone back to work? He said, we would be in a worse condition than we currently are. One of the things that my daddy was most proud of was when President Obama, when he got a chance to meet him, the president said to him, had it not been for the stance that you made, I wouldn't be where I am today. Not only was it their issue, but this changed things all across the country. Right. So their stance changed not only Memphis, but the states. I'm proud also that our young people are standing up for something today. And I think that's what it takes to make change happen. Yes.
Sherry Turner.
Thank you. I wanted to respond to that question as well, and I do think that there have certainly been advances in Memphis and all over the country, but at the same time, the fight and the need for us to fight and to press for justice continues. It's very interesting to me watching this series and seeing how many of the issues that the men and women and families fought for in 1968 have come back around. I recently gave a talk at Rhodes College, and I was talking about poverty in Memphis and what we see in Memphis, and was just struck by some of the statistics now that we have regarding Memphis. Things like only 14% of graduates of the public schools go on to receive a college education. The fact that although there have been strides in terms of poverty in Memphis, we're actually moving backwards. Even among whites, we're moving backwards. And so while there have been gains, there have also been a regression, and I think that it's very important for all of us to not just look back at the work that the men in 1968 did, but to think about the responsibility that each of us has now to keep pressing and to keep moving and to keep fighting for justice. And to vote. And to vote.
Here we go.
How y'all doing? I just want to be thankful to my elders, actually. Being a young man, I'm thankful for the elders that we have, for you guys' strength and then the push forward. But I do have a question for our men, actually. Me being a young African-American male to, again, the African-American elders. We find ourselves in the same position you guys find yourselves in. What I noticed from the video is that you guys had wives and you guys had families. I'm 32. Nowadays, we aren't getting married nowadays. I have to get blessed with a beautiful, lovely wife. But you guys had wives, so you guys had a lot of support who supported you when you came home. But my question would be, nowadays, we're fighting the same kind of racism, not as much on your guys' level, but we're so much as fighting too, as we've seen in the video. We are still getting killed, because we is me too. Our black men are still getting killed by police, unarmed black men, at a high rate. And also, we're still being oppressed by systematic racism, as far as we're still being underpaid for doing the same jobs as our white male counterparts. This is very true back then as it is now. She said everything's came full circle again. My question would be, what do you guys think we need to do as far as black men? Because I realized that a lot of black men led the protests, led the marches, led these movements for change back in you guys' days. What do you think we need to do as far as us black men that needs to continue this movement going forward? What wisdoms can you give to us these days as we lead our people and our wives and our families? Thank you.
Reverend Moore, you're going to say something?
First of all, I'm here to let you know that the answer is not pick up a gun.
Yeah.
Take someone's life. The Bible says why you can take something that you cannot give. We know if we take someone's life, we can't give it back. But what you need to do is stand together and reason together. Now you can't talk to everybody, but you sure can tell them what's on your mind. And all they need to do is stop selling guns, because when I was small coming up, they wouldn't sell us no gun. They wouldn't sell us no gun. Because of the fact, that's not the answer. When I was going to school, we got in fight, true enough. But we made it up and turned out to be the best friends. Now, it looked like to me this, and God wasn't intended for this world to be like this. Nothing wrong with the world, but the people in the world.
Right.
We got to learn to get along with one another. If somebody talk about you, don't get no gun. Pray for them. Prayer will change any condition. We cannot change it, but just turn it over to God, and He'll work it out. And if you can't talk to nobody, there are some out there you cannot talk to. If you can't talk to nobody, turn away and walk away. You go on by your business and let them go by their business. And hoping and praying that when you turn your back, they don't shoot you in the back. But you got to be careful. We live in a wicked world now. We live in a wicked time. We living among people that don't want to reason with you. We live in a time that people don't want to talk with you. But I'm going to say this, it's best to just go ahead. If they start arguing, don't say nothing, just keep on walking. Keep on walking. Sometimes you can solve problems by not diving over in with them. That's what they want you to do. Things happened to me a many times. But I turned away and said, Lord help, and kept on going.
We just got some preaching. Okay, we'll do one more question. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mr. Leach's brother.
Yes. I chopped, picked cotton. I left Mississippi when I was 16 years old, and I never wanted to live that life. But I didn't blame my downfall on white people, as many of you do. And my dad stressed education. And so many of our kids are dropping out of school, not even finishing high school. When I started working at Quaker Oats Chemicals, the job had been done by a 10th grader, but they would not hire a 10th grader because they said the kids that go to school and finish the 12th grade, where would they work? If we hired a 10th grader, let them drop out. The next thing, I was determined not to live as my parents had lived. And so I went to school, I went to school, rode the bus, stayed up late at night, riding in and out the bus. You need to prepare yourself. Mary McLeod Bethune said, I'd rather see people in a line a mile long and prepared to go in the door and the door is closed than to see a mile long, people a mile long, the door is open and nobody prepared to go in. I was the first black high off the street at Buckman Laboratories. You can achieve. But I don't want to use, many of you use excuses that the system is putting you down. Now, I'm not saying that the system is just, I'm not saying it is fair, but you do have to prepare yourself.
We have a question from a great-granddaughter. Would you mind standing up? Yeah, you got to stand up. You can do it. You're elite. All right, you can sit down. You want to ask it? Tell your name.
My name is Maya Ridley, and I wonder why did the white people shoot him instead of joining him in the march?
Wow.
Why did the white people shoot him instead of joining him in the march? I love that question because
great question.
That's the heart of it. And for my race, what I can tell you is that my race has a sickness. It's called white supremacy. You'll learn about it when you get a little older. And you know, when you get sick, sometimes you can try everything you want, but you can't get over it. And it's a sickness. And it hurts other people. And that's the best answer I can give you. But the real answer is, it doesn't make any sense.
And make friendships.
There were. There were. Yes.
Good evening. I just want to thank the 68 Strikers again and their families and the team who put this together. It was just very emotional and profound to be in this room. I'm a labor organizer, and so it means a lot. It means a lot to know this history, and I've been learning about the 6-day strike for a long time now, and I do want to give some acknowledgement to Mr. Turner's family and Baxter Leach, because when I was working with the fast food and home care workers who were striking for $15 an hour, y'all came out and you supported them and you spoke on camera for them and provided solidarity in the connection between not making a living wage in 68 and thousands of people in this city continuing to make starvation wages. And so I want to acknowledge that and thank you for standing up for the fast food and home care workers who are still fighting for a living wage. And so my question is, in January of this year on Dr. King's birthday, we have a big march in Memphis. We learned that the current sanitation workers, their contract expired. So they're under the Teamsters Union. I'm not sure the history of that, moving from AFSCME to the Teamsters. And so they're currently working without a contract and negotiating that contract with their employer. And I just wonder, from the team, do you have any forward-looking projects to document the current work and unionization fight of the sanitation workers and to the 6-day strikers? Do you have any connection with the current sanitation workers in their fight for better wages and working conditions.
Thank you so much for that. I'll answer. We just finished about 2 days ago, so we don't have any other plans right now. But we're definitely committed to this story as it continues. And I'd like to give Mr. Leach a minute. You don't have any iPhones or anything, right? That was one of my favorite sentences. So I'm going to give you a chance to talk about, you do work with some unions now, right?
Right. I do work with the Teamster Union. When they call me, I always go, me and Attn, they always call us, we always go be with them all the time. And the different unions call us different places. They're like, I think his name, he's sick. He always calls us, he wants to be with him. Chuck Styler. He's sick. And anytime he wants us, he will call us. And we be there with him. Anything, if they're in the city right now, they call us right now, we be with them. But the only thing y'all pray for Chuck Styler, he got cancer. And I pray for him every day. Right now, if you hear me, the fact I appreciate it. I don't know when I made a speech on the stand or not. He called me that night and said, Baxter, I appreciate what you said. You told people to pray for me. Me and my family cried that night when he called me. I said, thank you. And anybody wants to be with us, and let us know. I'll be right there with you.
A little junior crew member, a daughter of a crew member, has some sort of question. We're not sure what it is. Tell your name.
My name is Nyla.
What's your question, Nyla?
How did a man die for the cross after a heart attack?
Mom, can you interpret that?
What she wants to say is, why did men have to die after King died?
Does anybody want to take that? Mr. McLean? No. Mrs. Crockett? No. Anybody? Mr. Ewell, you want to talk? Okay. You know what? That's the hardest question, so we're just going to stop. You stumped us, Nyla. I just want to thank all of the men and their families. And I'd like to thank this whole crew and the Indie Memphis people for letting us have this interview. And we're going to try and continue this work. We're going to try and do some things where we can get this into schools with Facing History. We've had some talks. And if you can see your way to donate, we'd appreciate it.
Where are the cards you said?
Right there. We'll give you one. Oh. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. If you didn't get them, they're right there. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you so much.